Welcome to my expat stories. This one's for the older lads who think finding love again will fix everything. Angus is 58, retired scaffolder from Glasgow. Rangers fan. His wife Linda didn't die. She left him. Ran off with her yoga instructor 3 years ago. They're in Marbella now. Living it up. He sees their Instagram posts. Them happy. Him alone. His mates dragged him to Pattaya. Said stop moping. He met Knock at the hotel laundry service. She was 42. Older, mature. Made him laugh. Made him feel wanted again. For the first time since Linda left, he felt like maybe he was still worth something. He fell hard. If you've ever tried to prove your ex wrong by finding someone new, this'll break your heart. Here's Angus. I'm sat in a pub in Pattaya at 3 p.m, pint of Chang in front of me, looking at Instagram on my phone. It's Linda, my ex-wife. Her and that yoga prick Craig. They're on a beach in Marbella. She's wearing a white dress. He's got his arm round her. Big smiles. Caption says, 3 years and still living the dream. 3 years. That's how long it's been since she left me for him. 3 years since she said, Angus, I'm not happy. I'm leaving. I've met someone. Just like that. 28 years of marriage. Done. For a yoga instructor called Craig. And here I am. Pattaya. Thailand. Drinking Chang at 3 p.m, looking at photos of my ex-wife living her best life while I'm... Well, I'll get to that. My name's Angus McAllister. I'm 58 years old. I was a scaffolder in Glasgow for 34 years. Hard graft. Good money. Retired last year with a decent redundancy package. Had about 90 grand saved up. Thought Linda and I would travel, do the things we'd always talked about. Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Then she left. Just left. Said she'd been unhappy for years, said I worked too much. Said I watched too much football. Said Craig made her feel alive. Made her feel young. Made her feel things I never did. I said, what about our life? Our house? Our plans? She said, what life, Angus? You go to work. You come home, you watch Rangers. You drink. That's not a life. That's existing. She moved out in April 2021. Moved in with Craig. His flat in the West End. All modern. All clean. Not like our house in Maryhill. Our house with the broken gutter and the damp patch in the spare room. Our house that we'd lived in for 26 years. 6 months later, they moved to Spain. Marbella. Craig had some online yoga business, taught classes over Zoom. Made decent money, apparently. Linda got a job in a boutique. Part-time. Easy. She posted photos, the beach, the sun, the restaurants, the life. And I stayed in Glasgow. In our house, with a broken gutter. With the damp patch, with the memories of a woman who decided I wasn't enough. I didn't cope well. I'll admit it. I drank too much, stopped going to Rangers games. Couldn't you be asked? Mates would ask if I was all right. I'd say I'm sound. But I wasn't sound. I was pure miserable. My mate Davey, he'd been to Thailand. Pattaya. Said it was mental. Said I needed to go. Get away from Glasgow. From Linda's ghost everywhere. From sitting in that house every night drinking whiskey and looking at her Instagram. I said, I'm no going to Thailand. That's for young lads. For stag doos. For idiots. He said, Angus, you're 58 and you're drinking yourself into an early grave. Over a woman who's moved on. Get on a plane. Live a bit. So in February 2024, I booked 2 weeks. Pattaya. Just to shut him up. Just to get away. Davey said he'd come with me. Show me the ropes. I said there's nae ropes to show. I'm no interested in bar girls. I'm no interested in any of that. I just want some sun and some peace. Landed on a Tuesday. Hot as hell. Proper hot. The kind of heat that hits you like a wall. We got a taxi to the hotel. Decent place. Pool, bar, beach nearby. Davey was buzzing. I was just knackered. First night, Davey dragged me to Walking Street. The bars, the noise, the chaos. It was everything I expected. Girls everywhere. Music blaring. I hated it. Proper hated it. This wasn't for me. This was for young lads trying to prove something. No for a 58-year-old scaffolder from Glasgow whose wife ran off with a yoga instructor. I told Davey I was going back to the hotel. He said we just got here. I said I can't do this, mate. I'm too old, too tired, too done with everything. He said, all right, go. I'll see you tomorrow. I walked back to the hotel, got to my room, sat on the bed, looked at my phone, opened Instagram. Linda had posted. Her and Craig at some restaurant. Wine, tapas, laughing. I closed the app, felt pure sick. The next morning I woke up late. Davey was already at the pool. I went down. He said, "How you feeling?" I said, "Aye, all right." He said, "We going out tonight?" I said, "Nah, I think I'm just going to take it easy." He said, "Suit yourself." I spent the day by the pool, reading, drinking, trying not to think about Linda, about how she was living her best life while I was in Pattaya, pretending I was having a good time. Around 4, I realised I'd run out of clean shirts. I'd brought 5, worn them all, sweating in this heat. I asked at reception where I could get laundry done. They said there's a service. Woman who runs it. Very good, very cheap. Her name's Knock, she'll come collect. An hour later, there's a knock on my door. I opened it. There's this Thai woman, maybe 42. No young, no dressed up, just normal. Jeans, t-shirt, bit of grey in her hair. She smiled, said, "You have laundry?" I said, "Aye." She said she'd take it, wash it, iron it, have it back tomorrow. I said, "Brilliant." I gave her my shirts, 5 shirts. She looked at them, counted them, wrote it down in a wee notebook. Very professional, very organised. She said, "You Scottish?" I was surprised. I said, "Aye, how do you know?" She said, "Your accent. I had Scottish customer before from Edinburgh." I said, "I'm from Glasgow." She said, "Ah, Rangers or Celtic?" I laughed. First time I'd laughed in days. I said, "Rangers." She said, "Good team." I said, "Aye, they're all right." She left. I thought nothing of it. Just a laundry woman, doing her job. Next day she brought my shirts back, perfectly ironed, folded, smelling clean. I said, "How much?" She said 300 baht, about 7 quid. I gave her 500, said keep it. She said no, too much. I said, "Nah, you did a great job. Keep it." She smiled, said thank you, asked if I needed anything else. I said no, I'm sound. She said, "Okay, if you need laundry again, ask for Knock." I said I will. Over the next week, I used her service 3 times. Each time she'd come collect. Each time we'd chat a bit. She asked about Glasgow, about Rangers, about what I did for work. I told her I was a scaffolder. Retired now. She seemed interested. Actually interested. No, just being polite. She told me about her life. She ran the laundry service, had done for 10 years. It was her business. She was proud of it. Had regular customers, tourists and expats. Made decent money, enough to support her family. She had a son, 19 years old, at university in Bangkok, studying engineering. She was so proud when she talked about him. Her face lit up. She also had her mother living with her. Old woman. Needed looking after. Knock did everything. Ran the business. Looked after her mother. Supported her son. She was strong. Capable. Reminded me a bit of my own mum. The way she carried herself. The way she talked about family. On my last day of the first trip, she came to collect laundry. I said, "I'm flying home tomorrow." She said, "You come back?" I said, "I don't know." "Maybe." She said, "I hope you come back. You're a nice customer. Easy to talk to." I said, "You too." She smiled. We exchanged line contacts. She said if I ever came back, message her. She'd make sure my laundry was done. I flew back to Glasgow, back to the house, back to the reality. But something felt different. I'd had actual conversations with someone who listened, who laughed at my patter, who didn't judge me for being a 58-year-old bloke whose wife left him. I messaged Knock a few days later, just to say thanks. She replied, "We started messaging. Nothing heavy, just casual chat. How's Glasgow? How's Thailand? How's your son? How's Rangers?" It was nice, easy, no pressure. Linda posted more photos, her and Craig at some festival. Her and Craig hiking. Her and Craig being happy. I looked at them, felt the usual sting, but it hurt less. Because I had someone to talk to, someone who made me feel like I wasn't completely worthless. In May I booked another trip. Told Davey. He said, "You going back to Pattaya?" I said, "Aye." He said, "For the bars?" I said, "Nah, just to relax." He said, "Fair enough." I messaged Knock, said I was coming back. She said brilliant, she'd make sure my shirts were extra clean. I laughed, said, "See you soon." When I arrived, she met me at the hotel. No to collect laundry, just to say hello. She brought me a gift, a wee Rangers scarf she'd found at a market. I was pure touched, actually touched. I said, "You didn't have to do this." She said I wanted to. "You're a good man." I said, thank you. She said, let's get coffee. Catch up properly. We went to a cafe near the beach, sat outside, drank coffee, talked for 2 hours. About everything. About her son, about my work, about Linda. I told her everything. About how Linda left, about Craig, about how I felt worthless. She listened. Really listened. Then she said, Angus, your wife is stupid. You're a good man, kind, funny. She doesn't see that. Her loss. I nearly cried. Right there in that cafe, because no one had said anything like that to me in 3 years. Everyone just said, move on. Get over it. Time heals. But Knox said Linda was stupid. And I needed to hear that. We started spending time together. No just laundry. Actual time. She'd finish work, we'd get dinner, walk on the beach, talk. She told me about her ex-husband. Left her years ago. For a younger woman. She understood what it felt like. To feel no enough. We bonded over that. Over being the ones left behind. By the end of that trip, I knew I'd fallen for her. First time since Linda. I didn't want to leave. Didn't want to go back to Glasgow. Back to that empty house. Back to watching Linda's Instagram posts. Knox said, you come back soon? I said, aye. Definitely. She said, I'll miss you. I said, I'll miss you too. Then she kissed me. Just a quick kiss. Nothing heavy. But it meant everything. I flew back to Glasgow. Couldn't stop thinking about her. We messaged every day. Video calls. She'd show me her day. I'd show her mine. She made me laugh. Made me feel alive. Made me feel like maybe I was still worth something. That's when the money started. In July, Knock messaged me. Said her son's university fees were due. She was short. 300,000 baht. About 7 grand. She was stressed. Really stressed. Said she'd been saving, but it wasn't enough. She might have to pull him out. Make him work for a year. Save up. Try again next year. I said, how much you short? She said about 100,000 baht. 2.5 grand. I said, I'll send it. She said, no, Angus, I can't ask you that. I said, you're no asking. I'm offering. Your son needs his education. I've got savings. Let me help. She cried on the video call. Actually cried. Said I was too kind. Too generous. Said she'd pay me back. I said, don't be daft. You don't pay me back. This is what people do for each other. She said she loved me. First time she'd said it. I said, I love you too. I sent the money that day. 2.5 grand. Gone. But it felt good. Felt like I was doing something meaningful. Helping someone I cared about. Linda never needed my help. Linda had her own money. Her own life. But Knock needed me. And that felt brilliant. A month later, she messaged again. Her mother was sick. Needed medical treatment. Hospital in Pattaya. Tests, scans, medicine. It was expensive. About 150,000 baht. 3.5 grand. She was panicking. Said she didn't have it. Said she'd have to borrow from loan sharks. I said, absolutely no. Don't do that. I'll send the money. She said, Angus, you already helped with university. I can't keep taking from you. I said, it's no taking. It's helping. That's what partners do. We're partners now, aye? She said, aye. We're partners. I said, then let me help. I sent 3.5 grand. She sent me photos of her mother in hospital. Old woman, looked proper poorly. Knock sitting beside her. Holding her hand, looking exhausted. I felt right sending the money. Felt like I was part of something. Part of a family again. September, Knock said she wanted to expand the laundry business. More equipment. More customers. She could make more money. Support herself better. No have to ask me for help all the time. She needed about 200,000 baht. 5 grand. For industrial washing machines. Dryers. Professional equipment. I said, brilliant. Let's do it. She said, are you sure? That's a lot of money. I said, I've got it. I want to help you build something. She said we'd be partners. In the business. 50-50. I'd invest. She'd run it. We'd split the profits. I said, aye, perfect. Let's build something together. I sent 5 grand. She sent me photos of new equipment being delivered. Big washing machines, dryers, professional stuff. It looked proper, looked legitimate. She said business was already picking up. More hotels, more customers. She was buzzing. I was buzzing. We were building something. October, she said she'd found a house. Small house near Pattaya, 2 bedrooms, garden. Quiet area. Perfect for us. For when I moved to Thailand permanently. Because that's what we were planning. I'd sell up in Glasgow. Move to Pattaya. Live with Nock. Help run the laundry. Live the life Linda was living in Spain. Except mine would be real. Mine would be with someone who actually loved me. The house was 1.8 million baht. About 43 grand. She said she had some savings. About 500,000 baht. 12 grand. If I could put in the rest, we could buy it outright. No mortgage, no rent. Just ours. Our home. Our future. I didn't hesitate. I said, let's do it. I transferred 31 grand. She sent me photos of the house. White walls, red roof, small garden with a tree. It looked perfect. Looked like somewhere I could be happy. Somewhere I could forget about Linda, about Glasgow, about everything that hurt. She said we'd register it in both our names. Equal ownership, proper legal. I said, brilliant. She said she'd sort the paperwork. I said, take your time. I trusted her. By November, I'd sent about 42 grand total. University fees, medical bills, business equipment, the house. It was a lot, but I had it. I'd worked 34 years, saved up. The redundancy was 90 grand. I still had 48 left, plenty to live on, plenty to start our life. I told Davey. He said, Angus, are you sure about this? That's a lot of money. I said, I'm sure. We're building a life together. He said, but you've only known her 6 months. I said, I know enough. She's good to me. She loves me. She needs me. That's all that matters. He said, what if it goes wrong? I said it won't. She's no Linda. She's no going to leave me. She actually wants me. He said, all right, mate. Your life. Just be careful. I said, I'm always careful. I wasn't careful. I was in love. And when you're in love, you're no careful. You're stupid. December. Nock said she needed a car to pick up and deliver laundry, to visit her mother at hospital, to run errands. She'd been using a motorbike. But with the business growing, she needed something bigger, more professional. A car would help. She'd found a used Toyota. Good condition. 250,000 baht. About 6 grand. I said, I'll send it. She said, Angus, you've already sent so much. I said, and I'll send more. You need a car. Let me help. She said, I don't deserve you. I said, you deserve everything. I sent 6 grand. She sent me a photo. Her standing next to a silver Toyota. Big smile. She looked so happy. So proud. I felt good. I felt like I was making her life better. Making us better. January 2025, I flew back to Thailand. Stayed for a month. This was it. The big trip. I was going to see the house. See the business. See everything we'd built together. And I was going to propose. I'd bought a ring. Just a simple gold band. But it was real. And my intentions were real. Nock picked me up from the airport in the Toyota. I got in. She kissed me. Said she missed me. I said I missed you too. She looked brilliant. Happy. Healthy. Different from when I first met her. More confident. More secure. Because of me. Because I'd helped her. We drove to her apartment. She still lived there. Said she wanted to wait till I moved over permanently before we moved into the house. Made sense. I met her mother. Old woman. Sweet. She smiled at me. Said something in Thai. Nock translated. She said thank you for helping her daughter. For being good man. I said it's my pleasure. The next day Nock said let's go see the house. Our house. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. This was it. This was what I'd been working toward. Our future. Our home. We drove about 20 minutes outside Pattaya. Quiet area. Nice houses, trees. Proper peaceful. She pulled up outside this white house with a red roof. I recognised it from the photos. This was it. Our house. We got out. She had keys. Opened the door. We went inside. It was lovely. Proper lovely. 2 bedrooms. Living room. Kitchen. Bathroom. Simple but nice. Clean. Fresh paint. I walked through. Imagining our life here. Me and Nock. Drinking coffee in the morning. Her going to work. Me helping with the business. Growing old together. Being happy. Then I noticed something. There was furniture. Like proper furniture. Sofa, TV, beds, kitchen stuff. I said, did you furnish it already? She said, no, not yet. I said, then whose furniture is this? She looked uncomfortable. Said it came with the house. I said, but we bought it empty. You showed me photos, empty rooms. She said the previous owner left some stuff. I said, this isn't some stuff. This is a full house of furniture. She said, Angus, let's talk outside. We went outside. Stood in the garden. She looked stressed, proper stressed. I said, what's going on? She said, the house, it's complicated. I said, how's it complicated? We bought it. It's ours. She said it's registered to someone else, temporarily, for tax purposes. A friend of hers. But it's still ours. We still own it. It's just paperwork. I said, what do you mean someone else? I paid for this house. 31 grand. She said, I know. And it's still ours. It's just no in our names yet, for legal reasons. I felt cold. Actually cold. In Thailand. In the heat. I felt cold. I said, whose name is it in? She said, a friend. Somchai. He helped with the paperwork. Made it easier. No paperwork issues with foreigners buying property. He registered it. But it's still ours. We'll transfer it later. I said, I want to see the paperwork. She said, it's at his office. I said, then let's go get it. She said, he's away. In Bangkok. For work. He'll be back next week. I said, then I'll wait. She said, Angus, please. Trust me, it's fine. It's our house. She looked like she was going to cry. I said, let's go back to your apartment. We need to talk properly. She said, okay. We drove back in silence. My head was spinning. The house wasn't in our names. It was in some bloke called Somchai's name. A friend. For tax purposes. That didn't sound right. That didn't sound right at all. We got back to her apartment. Sat down. I said, I need you to be honest with me. Completely honest. Is that house ours? She said, yes. But it's complicated. I said, stop saying complicated. Tell me the truth. She said, the house is in Somchai's name because he's her... She paused. Then said, he's her husband. Husband. I said, what? She said, ex-husband. They're divorced. But on paper, still married. For legal reasons, he lives in Bangkok. They don't live together, haven't lived together in years. But legally still married, so the house is in his name. Because foreigners can buy property easily. But it's still ours, he's just helping. I said, you're married? She said, no, not really. On paper only. I said, that's still married. She said, Angus, it's Thailand. It's complicated. Lots of people stay legally married even when they're no together. For paperwork. For property. It doesn't mean anything. I said, does he know about me? She said, yes. He knows. I said, does he know I paid for the house? She went quiet. I said, does he know? She said, he thinks I paid for it. From the business. From savings. I said, so he thinks he owns a house his ex-wife bought. She said, sort of. I said, what does that mean? She said, he thinks we bought it together. For investment. To rent out. I said, to rent out? We're no renting it out. We're living in it. She said, I know. But he doesn't know that yet. I felt sick. Actually sick. I said, I paid 31 grand for that house. She said, I know. I said, and it's in your husband's name. She said, ex-husband. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out, tried to process, tried to understand. My money, 31 grand, in a house, in her husband's name, a husband she never mentioned, a husband who thinks he owns property his wife bought. I said, what about the laundry business, the equipment? She said, that's mine, that's real. That's my business. I said, show me. She said, what? I said, show me the equipment, the business. Let's go now. She said, it's at a storage unit. I said, then let's go to the storage unit. She said, Angus, please. You're upset. Let's talk tomorrow. When you're calm, I said, I'm no going anywhere till I see that equipment. She said, okay. Okay, we'll go. We drove to an industrial area, storage units. She pulled up outside one, unlocked it, opened the door. Inside were washing machines, dryers, professional equipment. I recognised them from the photos. They were real. They existed. I felt a tiny bit of relief. At least that part was real. I said, why are they here? Why aren't they at your business? She said, I'm setting up a new location. Bigger space. These are for there. I said, where's this new location? She said, still looking. I said, you've had this equipment since September. It's January, that's 4 months. She said, I know, it takes time. I said, are you actually using this equipment? She said, not yet, but I will. I said, so I paid 5 grand for equipment that's sitting in storage. She said, it's an investment for the future. I said, the future? I thought we were building something now. She said, we are. This is part of it. I didn't believe her. I wanted to, but I didn't. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. And I'd been too stupid, too in love, too desperate to believe I was worth something, too desperate to prove Linda wrong, to prove I could be happy, to prove I could find someone who wanted me. And I'd sent 87 grand to a woman who was still married, who'd put my money in her husband's name, who had equipment sitting in storage, who told me we were building a life when really I was just funding hers. I didn't sleep that night, just lay there in Nock's apartment. She was in the other room. We weren't sharing a bed. No after what I'd found out. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about the 87 grand I'd sent, thinking about how stupid I'd been, thinking about Linda, about how she'd be laughing if she knew, the yoga instructor's wife, living it up in Marbella, while her ex-husband got conned by a Thai woman in Pattaya. The next morning I said I wanted to meet Somchai. Nock said why. I said, because he's got my house in his name. I want to talk to him. She said he's in Bangkok. I said then we're going to Bangkok. She said, Angus, please. This is nain necessary. I said it's very necessary. Either we go to Bangkok or I'm going to the police. She said, okay, we'll go. We drove to Bangkok. 3 hours. Silent. She tried talking. I didn't respond. I was done talking. I wanted answers. Real answers. No more it's complicated. We got to Bangkok around 2. She took me to an apartment building. Nice area. Modern. She called Somchai. Told him we were downstairs. He said, come up. We went up to the 5th floor. Knocked. The door opened. Somchai. Thai bloke. Maybe 45. Looked decent. Normal. He looked confused. Said something in Thai to Nock. She replied. Then he looked at me. Said in English, you're Angus. I said, aye. He said, come in. We went inside. Nice apartment. Clean. Modern. TV. Sofa. Kitchen. He said, sit down. Want a drink? I said, no. I want to talk about the house. He said, okay. What about it? I said, I paid for it. 31 grand. He looked at Nock. Said something in Thai. She replied. They went back and forth, arguing. He was getting louder. She was getting defensive. Then he turned to me. Said, you paid for the house? I said, aye. Every penny. He said, she told me she paid for it. From her business, from savings. I said, that's my money. From my savings. She took it. Put it in your name. He went pale. Actually pale. He said, I didn't know. She said it was hers. She said we were investing together. To rent it out. I said to rent it out. She said we'd rent it to tourists. Make money. Split it 50-50. I said she told me we were gonna live in it. Me and her. He looked at Nock. Said something in Thai. Angry. Proper angry. She said something back. Crying now. He said to me, I'm sorry, I didn't know. She lied to me too. I said, are you two still married? He said legally, yes. But we've been separated 4 years. We stay married for paperwork. For her business. For my business. Makes things easier. But we don't live together. We're no together. I said, does she have other Farangs sending money? He said, what? I said, other foreigners. Like me. Sending money. He said, I don't know. Maybe. She does laundry for hotels. Meets a lot of tourists. I wouldn't be surprised. I felt sick. Actually gonna be sick. I said I need to leave. He said, wait. I'll transfer the house to you. It's your money. You should have it. I said, how? He said, I'll sign it over. But you'll need a Thai person to hold it. Foreigners can't own land directly. You'll need someone you trust. I said, I don't trust anyone. He said, I'm sorry, mate. Really? She played both of us. I left. Walked out. Nock followed. Saying, Angus, please. Let me explain. I said, there's nothing to explain. You lied. About everything. You took my money. Put it in your husband's name. Told him you were renting it out. Told me we were living in it. You played us both. She said I didn't mean to. I said you didn't mean to. You took £87,000 from me. 87? She said what? I said you heard me. 87 grand. University, medical bills, equipment, house, car, other bits. 87 grand. She said I didn't know it was that much. I said, how did you know no? You asked for it. She said I needed help. My son, my mother, my business. I was struggling. I said, so you use me. She said, I cared about you. I still care about you. I said, you've got a funny way of showing it. She said, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I said, I want my money back. She said, I don't have it. It's gone. The house, the car, the equipment, the bills. It's all spent. I said, then sell the house. Sell the car. Get me something back. She said the house is in Somchai's name. I can't sell it without him. And he wants to rent it out now. Make money. To recover his investment. He thinks he paid for it. I said, then tell him the truth. She said, I can't. He'll leave me with nothing. I said, you are unbelievable. She said, Angus, please. I love you. I said, you don't love me. You love my money. She said, that's no fair. I said, fair? You want to talk about fair? I'm 58 years old. My wife left me for a yoga instructor. I'm trying to rebuild my life, trying to prove I'm still worth something. And you saw that. You saw I was vulnerable, and you used it. You used me. She cried. Said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, sorry doesn't give me back 87 grand. She said, I'll pay you back. I said, how? You've got no money. You've got equipment sitting in storage. You've got a house in your husband's name that he's going to rent out. How are you going to pay me back? She said, I don't know, but I'll try. I said, I'm done. I'm flying home. Don't contact me. I went back to Pattaya, packed my stuff, called Davey, told him everything. He said, mate, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm a fucking idiot. He said, you're an idiot. You're just a bloke who wanted to be loved. That doesn't make you an idiot. I said, it makes me 87 grand poorer. He said, come home, we'll figure it out. I said, I'm coming home. I flew back to Glasgow 2 days later, back to the house. The one Linda left me in, the one with the broken gutter, the damp patch, the memories. I wanted to sell it, move to Thailand, live with Nock, build a life. Now I was stuck in it, with £48,000 less. Well, 3,000 less actually. I'd sent some other bits I didn't even mention. Medical top-ups, emergencies, birthday money for her son, all the wee bits that add up. I went through my bank statements properly. Total damage, £87,400. Gone. My redundancy was 90 grand. I had £2,600 left. 2 grand. To my name. At 58 years old. After working 34 years. After saving everything. 2 grand. I checked Linda's Instagram. Force of habit. She'd posted the day before, her and Craig at some beach bar. Cocktails, sunset. Caption, life keeps getting better. I closed the app, sat there, in that house, in that empty, broken house. And I thought about how I'd tried so hard to prove her wrong. Prove I could be happy. Prove someone could love me. Prove I was worth something. And all I'd proved was that I'm a mug. A desperate, lonely mug who'll throw money at anyone who says they care. I didn't tell anyone the full story. Just Davey. Everyone else I just said Thailand didn't work out. Came home, they didn't push it. Figured it was personal. I thought about going to the police. Reporting Nock. But for what? Fraud. I'd sent them money willingly. No contracts, no agreements. No proof she'd promised anything. Just messages. Just trust. And trust isn't legally binding. The equipment existed. The house existed. The car existed. She'd used the money for what she said. She just didn't tell me she was married. Didn't tell me the house would be in his name. Didn't tell me she had no intention of us living there together. But is that fraud? Or is that just lying? I talked to a lawyer. Cost me 200 quid for a consultation. He said basically what I expected. It's a civil matter. I could sue her in Thailand. Try to recover something. But it'd cost thousands. Years. And I'd probably get nothing. She doesn't have assets in her name. The house is Somchai's. The car's probably financed. The equipment's in storage. There's nothing to take. He said best case, maybe I get 5 grand back. After spending 10 grand in legal fees, he said cut your losses, move on. So that's what I'm doing. Cutting my losses. Moving on. Except I'm no moving anywhere, I'm stuck. In Glasgow, in this house. With 2 grand to my name. At 58. Too young to fully retire. Too old to start over. I got a job. Part-time. Building site. Labouring. No scaffolding anymore. My knees can't handle it. Just labouring. Moving stuff. Cleaning. Whatever they need. 8 quid an hour. 20 hours a week. 160 quid a week. No much. But it's something. Keeps me busy. Stops me sitting in this house all day thinking about how I threw away 87 grand on a woman who was still married. Davey asked if I'll ever go back to Thailand. I said no. Never. He said, what about dating? I said, I'm done. Done with women. Done with trying. Done with proving anything. He said, you can't give up. I said, watch me. I deleted Instagram. Couldn't he stand seeing Linda anymore? Seeing her happy. Living her best life. While I'm here, broke. Alone. Working part-time at 58 because I was too stupid to see a con when it was right in front of me. Rangers won the league last month. First time in years. My mates called. Said we're going to the pub. Celebrate. I said, nah, I'm all right. They said, come on, Angus, 1 pint. I went, had 1 pint, then left. Couldn't enjoy it. Couldn't enjoy anything. Everything feels hollow now. Empty. Like I'm just going through the motions. Work, home, sleep, repeat. I think about Nock sometimes. Wonder if she thinks about me. Wonder if she feels bad. Wonder if she's found another lonely bloke to fund her life. Probably. Probably got some other farang sending money for her son's education, or her mother's medical bills, or her business expansion. And he probably thinks he's special. Thinks she loves him. Thinks he's building a future. Just like I did. I think about the house. The one in Pattaya. The one I paid 31 grand for. Somchai's renting it out now. I checked online. Found it on Airbnb. Beautiful Thai house. 2 bedrooms. Garden. Quiet area. 3,000 baht per night. That's about 70 quid. He's making money off my house. Off my money. And there's nothing I can do about it. I think about Linda. About how she said I worked too much. Watched too much football. Didn't he make her feel alive? And I tried to prove her wrong. Tried to show her I could make someone happy. Could build a life. Could be enough. And all I proved was that she was right. I'm no enough. No for her, no for Nock, no for anyone. I'm just Angus. 58 years old. Retired scaffolder from Glasgow. Living in the house my ex-wife left me in. Working part-time to survive. With 2 grand to my name after throwing away 87 trying to prove how I was worth loving. I learned something though. Learned that being left by your wife doesn't mean you should jump at the first person who shows you kindness. Learned that 6 months isn't enough to know someone. Learned that it's complicated always means it's a lie. Learned that when someone's still legally married, they're still married. Paper or no paper. And I learned that trying to prove your ex wrong is the fastest way to prove her right. Linda said I wasn't enough. I tried to prove I was. And I ended up alone. Broke and more worthless than when she left. She's in Marbella. Happy. I'm in Glasgow. Broken. She won. I lost. That's the truth of it. Nock messaged me last week. First time since I left. Said she was sorry. Said she missed me. Said she wanted to make it right. Said if I came back, we could try again. Properly this time. Honest this time. I deleted the message. Blocked her number. I'm done. Done being used. Done being lied to. Done believing people care when they just care about my money. I'm done with Thailand. Done with romance. Done with trying. I'm just going to work my part-time job. Pay my bills. Watch Rangers when I can be asked. And exist. That's all I'm good for now. Existing. The dream's dead. The money's gone and I'm just here. In this house. Alone exactly where I started. Except 87 grand poorer. And a whole lot more broken. And that was Angus's story. 58-year-old scaffolder from Glasgow whose wife Linda left him for a yoga instructor 3 years ago. Saw them on Instagram, living their best life in Marbella. His mate dragged him to Pattaya. He met Nock. She ran a laundry service. She was 42, older, mature, different. They fell for each other. Over 6 months he sent £87,400. University fees, medical bills, laundry equipment, a house, a car, all the bits. The house was registered to Somchai, her husband. She's still legally married. Told Angus they'd lived there. Told Somchai they'd rent it out. Played them both. Angus found out when he showed up to see their future home. Somchai didn't know Angus paid for it. The equipment's in storage. The house is on Airbnb now making Somchai money. Angus is back in Glasgow, working part-time. 2 grand left. At 58, Linda's still in Marbella. Happy. Angus tried to prove her wrong. Proved her right instead. Ever sent money trying to prove your ex wrong? Let us know what happened in the comments. And if you've got a Thailand story, we're listening. Look after yourselves out there, aye?